This is going to be two reviews. Strange Time is a full-length album and a side project EP. Strange Time is the first solo album from Chip Znuff, bassist of Znuff, a glam rock band that started in the late 80s and, like Cheap Trick, mined as much from heavy rock as it did from Beatles-style 60s music. Now, the album opens with Sunshine, a great, sunny, 60s psychedelic track. Now, I personally love retro retoolings of 60s psychedelics as much as I do retro retoolings of 60s-era Motown, when they are done right, of course. But I have read more than my fair share of critics who are fine with the Motown and early 60s R&B retoolings, but then stick their noses in the air anytime a song is obviously echoing the Fab Four in some way, be it because you are paying homage or simply because that style and era of music has had such a big influence on the artist's songwriting that it just can't help but come out any other way. And while I have no problem with homage either, I have always felt that Enough's Enough fit the latter, and I feel the same way about any sonic similarities that I hear in Strange Time as well. And just like Enough's Enough and bands like Cheap Trick, Strange Time gets it right on this album. These are original, new songs, and just like the first time I heard Sgt. Pepper, every song feels like something fresh and new, and yet every song feels instantly catchy and feels like I've known these songs for years also. The one exception to that last statement is going to be the song F. Marry Kill, but I'll get to that in a moment. Getting back to the album at hand, in spite of the opening track, it's not all sunshine and flowers, with darker tracks like Rockstar and the very Jane's Addiction-influenced title track, which are both collaborations with Trent Reznor. The title track has Chip singing, "We're living in a strange time, should be happy just to be alive, soon will be nothing but a memory." Getting back to my previous statement, the track F. Marry Kill has Chip Znuff deliberately building a new song off the verse melody of Steve Miller's Fly Like an Eagle, before going into the song's more metal-sounding chorus. If F. Marry Kill had been released by a hip-hop artist, they would have just sampled Fly Like an Eagle. But since we have musicians on this album, the band just simply performs it. I want to state that I don't think this is a bad track at all. In fact, I think it is a very fun track. It also works well as a mashup, and it also works well as a parody. And I don't think there's anything wrong with serious music artists engaging in a little parody from time to time. Nirvana did it by sarcastically singing the opening of Get Together by the Youngbloods on their song Territorial Pissings. Now, the album closes with a slightly heavier but mostly faithful remake of the Kinks' All Day and All of the Night. And I think that closing with this track is probably one of the album's only really big missteps. Not that it's a bad remake, it's fine, but I think it should have been sequenced into the album earlier. In fact, with an album of mostly original songs, I don't think you should ever close your album with a cover unless it really thematically gives your album an emotionally satisfying closing. And I don't think that happens with this Kinks cover. I think the closing track should have been, in my humble opinion, the YouTube single, track 9, entitled Hello to the Drugs. I think that closing with this much darker and more sardonic track would have made it the perfect counterpoint to the album's brighter opening track. It would have been the movie equivalent of the dark twist ending, and I think that thematically it would have sparked a lot more interesting critical conversation about the album. In the press release for this album, Chip Znuff calls this a stoner album. This immediately has negative connotations for me, not because I have negative feelings about marijuana use, but because when I think of a stoner album, I think of Pearl Jam's Vitology, an album that sounds like the band thought that getting high and jamming could replace actual songwriting. The songwriting on Strange Time is none of these things. The album's songwriting is concise, and the song arrangements are tight. The songs are catchy, and even in their darker moments are a hell of a lot of fun. And my critical quibbles aside, on first reaction, I'm giving Strange Time 4 out of 5 stars. But wait, that's not all, folks, because Strange Time also includes a bonus EP, a previously shelved collaboration between Chip Znuff and Steven Adler. On the one hand, I think the actual Strange Time album is thematically better if the EP is included as a bonus disc or if it is released separately. On the other hand, including a bonus disc, or releasing it separately would have cost the consumer more. So while the artist in me wants this EP to be a separate physical entity, the consumer in me thanks everyone involved for giving me more bang for my buck. The artist in me will just have to shrug his shoulders and say, when you are done with track 10 of Strange Time, click pause and take a moment before continuing. Now this bonus EP is heavier and more straightforward rocking than the album that precedes it. It also features some impressive collaborations, including Robin Zander and Del Bazio. I have no info on why this project was originally shelved. It certainly wasn't for a lack of good songwriting. These are fun, solid rock tracks, and considering that Steven Adler is also featured along with Cheap Trick's Robin Zander on the Kinks cover from All Day and All of the Night, I have to wonder why they just didn't make that track part of the Znuff and Adler EP instead. A more straightforward rocking mini-album like this could actually have benefited from opening with a cover. But I should also add that the EP's actual opener, Our Town, is a pretty damn strong rocker on its own. Track 3 of the EP, The Game, is a bit reminiscent of Turn to Stone by ELO, but not enough to have Jeff Lynne calling his people. Track 5, The Pain Is All on You, samples the piano of Paul McCartney's Let 'Em In to great effect. Hey, if hip-hop artists can sample a musician's performance, why can't another musician sample another musician's performance? If I were to rate the Znuff/Adler EP, I would give it a 3.5 stars out of 5. On first reaction, I found Strange Time to be well worth my time and well worth buying. And I would say the same for the additional EP, even if it were a separate release. So this dual release is giving you a lot of bang for your buck. Please remember that pirate and BitTorrent sites profit from the hard work of musicians and give nothing back to support them. When you use sites like Grooveshark and Kim.com, you aren't supporting musicians or the music they create, you are supporting crooks and thieves. Always purchase or stream your music from legal music sites that compensate musicians, recording engineers, and all the people who make the music you enjoy possible. For Music Worth Buying, this is TJR. Thanks so much for watching, and please subscribe.